In this video, we'll look at what Gareth Soloway said about Bitcoin's crash. If you don't know, Gareth Soloway is the man who predicted Bitcoin's big crash in September when everyone thought that we were going to 100K. He talked about various reasons behind this crash and then talked about his final predictions for Bitcoin and cryptos. First, he said that it was the appreciation in the value of the dollar that led to this huge crash for Bitcoin.
I think with the dollar, you have to look at it as it is a pressure factor with crypto. Like if you had a dollar that wasn't up so significantly for this year, 2022, would crypto still be at 30,000? Now, I still think crypto was going to come down. There was a bubble in the crypto markets, in the NFT markets, all of these markets, but you have to think that the dollar has played some role in forcing it down. So the question is that if the dollar starts to pull back, do we start to make a near-term bottom in crypto? I still ultimately think we're headed a little bit lower, maybe 12,000-ish on the crypto Bitcoin market, but I do think we're due for a dollar pullback here. And that could be the relief rally that we get a crypto move, maybe in Bitcoin back to 25, maybe 28,000. And then also you have to keep in mind the psychology of it. So inevitably them talking that up will create some sort of buy interest. Like we were just talking about the thinner volume. Maybe that's a catalyst as well to help the bounce. But one of the things I've learned in all the cycles that I've traded, whether it's stocks or commodities or crypto, is that usually these calls are early, right? So you're still going to see one more good flush. They have to flush out the weak hands that are buying here. And again, just be ready for that. It doesn't, if you look at it in perspective, we were at 68, 69,000. We're now down to 20 or we were sub 20. This is obviously getting inexpensive. But just be aware that markets tend to push you more than you're aware in each direction. So it went higher than many people thought and ultimately will go lower than many people think. Yeah, so first off, I'm loving the fact that we've recaptured, and this yellow line represents your 2017 high. So this is kind of what I was talking about. Here's your panic kind of sell, beautiful reversal, and then we crept up, and then we kind of came back under, and now we're back above. So at least in the short term, I am bullish. I do think Bitcoin has upside. Upside may be somewhat limited. My first level here that I'm looking at is around 25,500. That's that Terra Luna collapse low right there. So that's going to be some resistance. And then if we get through that, your next big test is around 28,500. So right now, these are the two levels I'm eyeing, which still, again, $5,000 up from here gives you a nice percentage return. But again, this would be a short-term move. I personally don't think Bitcoin has fully bottomed out yet. And again, keep in mind, I'm a swing trader, but also that macro view. So my swing trade side is bullish right now near term. My midterm, which is the next 3 to 6 months, I still think we have one more leg to flush out. My thinking is we're heading down to this area right down here, right around 12,000 to 13,000. And I'll just tell you this, is that my thought process about why we haven't bottomed is that you haven't seen all out basically people just throwing their hands up in the air, and you still have too many cryptocurrencies out there. We've started to weed out the weak hands, the Celsiuses, the other ones filing for bankruptcy, the Terra Lunas that shouldn't have been in this situation. But we still have thousands of cryptocurrencies. And if you look at the .com bubble, which is very reminiscent to what we're seeing here, you had a period where so many of them went bust and also other ones got bought out. I think recently FTX announced they were buying BlockFi for like 99% discount. That's what we want to see, but it's not over yet. So again, that probably means one more flush later on. What I would say though is this is important, is that don't necessarily think that it's a guaranteed flush, right? So what I did was when we got to 19,000, I started a very small hodl position. And what I'm going to do is every 2 to 3,000 lower, I'm going to add another small position, accumulating a bigger core. Because yes, I think we might go to 12,000, but there's no guarantees. I'm not going to buy every week there and just miss the whole train. As much as I love Bitcoin going forward, got to start dipping those toes into the water. I would just say this, is that remember, in investing, your emotion works against you. So when you're most fearful, which is right at these lows, that's when you got to be looking to buy. And when you're most greedy, over here, that's
when you got to sell.
Yeah. And it's so hard because what I always like to say is have your hodl position, that's fine. but then
Yeah.
designate a portion of it that you're taking profits. Because I always like to say it, no one went broke taking a profit, right? So, I mean, you always want to stay in the game. You want to pad your portfolio with some profits. If then a stock or in this case, a crypto goes against you, you have that
Right.
padding to kind of save yourself. And you can always, you're freeing up capital too, right? So you have that capital to redeploy, which is super important as well.
Now let's talk about some big news from today. The U.S. Treasury has developed a framework for international crypto regulation, and this document is the first publication to result from U.S. President Joe Biden's executive order on digital assets. The report said the framework is intended to ensure that America's core democratic values are respected, pointing to consumer, investor, and business protection, the safety of the global financial system, and interoperability. According to the sheet, the framework's policy objectives also include reducing the potential use of crypto for illicit finance, promoting access to financial services, supporting technological advancement, and reinforcing U.S. leadership in the global financial system. Now, to me this sounds like the U.S. government wants to leverage the power of crypto to its advantage to become a global leader. Does this mean that the U.S. government is becoming pro-crypto now? I think it is, and I'm quite optimistic about its impact on cryptos in the near future. Then there was another big news about crypto adoption from Latin America. Latin American crypto exchange Bitso has launched a crypto remittance service in Colombia. The service will allow individuals and businesses to send and receive digital dollars and is the first crypto remittance product in Colombia to date. The company hopes to double its volume of international transfers by year-end and to process $4 billion in 2023. This just implies that we can see a lot of money coming into cryptos from Colombia. Now let's talk about some important data for Bitcoin. So, a popular crypto analyst said that one important Bitcoin metric is approaching a positive trend that's been unseen for years. He said, "Over the last 5 or 6 years, I have never seen this phenomenon. People are withdrawing everything they can from exchanges. This is also despite the suspension of withdrawals. The number of exchange deposits and withdrawals tend to have a very high correlation with spot prices." Basically, he believes the increase in withdrawals is a positive development for Bitcoin's price. Also, a descending triangle pattern has been pressuring Bitcoin for the past 3 weeks. Now, on top of that, Bitcoin derivatives metrics have significantly improved since June 30. I think this is because 2 retirement funds in the U.S. state of Virginia announced a $35 million commitment to VanEck's crypto-focused investment fund. Also, on the same day, a Huobi Exchange subsidiary finally received its money services business license in the U.S. Also, Celsius has finally paid all of its outstanding debt. So, all of this is really good news for the crypto market, and all of this is slowly helping the market recover. Moving on, another good news came from Robinhood. The exchange has enabled Bitcoin and Dogecoin transfers in and out of its app for all users. Clearly, Robinhood is trying to compete with Block's Cash App, which has allowed withdrawals for years. But while Cash App supports the Lightning Network, Robinhood's plans to integrate the Better, Bitcoin's second-layer network. Also, if you don't know, the firm started testing its Bitcoin withdrawal feature in September 2021, and in under 2 months, 1.6 million users were on the waitlist to access the functionality. This just means that a lot of people have been waiting on the sidelines for news like this before they could enter the market. And so I expect a lot more funds coming into crypto via Robinhood. And this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you like it, please share it with your friends and family. Also, please like this video and leave a comment about your predictions for the crypto market. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.